All right. Let's get rid of this because I'm going to show you how to do that. You see here that just to go over the tables part, let's see. You can see that it's pretty hard finding the exact parts of what I asked you, the global warming. It's out there. But I want to go over a couple things. I found a website. If you look here, it goes by the decade. And then it had the table right on it on the web page. And this is Celsius. Couple things I need to point out to you about tables. On the left, that's your control that's your control stuff. Numbers, letters, you can put that stuff on the left. On the right is your data. And when you write data, it has to be just the number. So this is 13.73 Celsius. I can't write Celsius in this box or your chart won't work. It has to be a number. So look what I did here. I put temp in the header and then degree Celsius in parentheses. That's to say all these numbers are temperatures below it. Okay? And then when you go out and you do your charts, go into customization and really deal with a lot of stuff. The worst thing that's going to happen is it's going to screw up and you just close it and do it again. So don't be afraid to experiment with this stuff. You aren't going to hurt computers or the program, you know, and you can come and say, Mr. Giese, I tried this and it didn't work, and we'll figure it out. Don't get nervous about it. When you search stuff, I typed in trends of Earth temperature or something like that. And it took me to a bunch of things. And Google search, sometimes I don't like reading all the material it gives you. So a lot of things, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I hit images, and then you see the charts and tables and all kinds of things. And then when you click on there, it'll give you an option to go to the web page. So when you see the information, hey, this is the kind of information I'm looking for, click it and see if the web page has the table for it. So use all the different search engines. And we'll go over that later in the year too, how to search things. Okay, today I'm going to show you how your dream car. So everyone should have researched their dream car. And you should have had just a 4-box table that looked something like this. You could type along with me, do exactly what I'm doing. I'm fine with that. You should have found your own car, though.
Are we doing that on like the project, like where we like example the one or
however you want to do. If you put it on your example page, you'll be able to copy it and paste it to the real page, anyways. So, but you could do this is what it will look like, how I think it should look like. So, and be patient with this mouse. This mouse is so sensitive. Dream car, mine is a 1970 Roadrunner. And this summer, one went for, and this is the class of the class, about $64,000. I'm just going to put $60,000 in there. Now I want to center all this stuff and put borders, so I'm going to highlight it all. Come up here, align to the center. Come up here, put a border. Go here and highlight my headers, and I'm going to dump some paint in there, some background paint. So a neat little table. Dream car, cost, all that stuff. And a very simple table. Now, what we're going to research is in about 3 years, you guys will be driving. Right? Maybe sooner than that, 10th grade. 2 years. And you're going to want a certain car and all this. I am going to show you what you need to do. A couple things is what you'll get out of this is how to write different functions, a little more complicated functions, and to see cost and how much cars could cost you. And maybe notice why your parents aren't going to buy you that 2017 Mustang, then 2019 Mustang. And I'm going to go to the bank and borrow $60,000 for my Roadrunner. And the bank figures out how much I'm going to pay. Well, in the function we're going to use, there's 3 values we need to know. The first one is interest rate. Who knows what interest rate is? What an interest or interest rate is?
Like the tax.
Sort of a tax. It isn't quite a tax, but yeah, it's that thought of a tax. It's sort of like that. Let's say Jaden wants to borrow $100 off me. Go, Mr. Geezy, let me borrow $100. I go, I'll let you borrow $100, but you have to pay me back $110. Well, that $10 is the interest. And that's 10% of 100. So my interest rate is 10%. That is how banks make their money. They charge you interest. They'll loan you money, but you got to pay them extra back. Okay? So you need to know the interest rate. Next thing you need to know is the amount of months it's going to take you to pay it off. And the last is the amount of money you need. In the banking world, this isn't a finance class, so don't get nervous about banking worlds. I just got a loan about a year ago, and I paid, I think, 2.4% interest. Pretty good interest rate. We're going to use 5% in this experiment, all right, in this example. How do I write 5% in decimal numbers? Never mind. Go ahead, Em. 0.05. So you were right there. Move the decimal point over twice. Okay, so it's 5%. Move it over twice. That's 1 0 before 5. Very good, Em. So 0.05 is going to be my interest rate. Now you can't write percentage in this. This has to stay just numbers, this column here. The amount to pay it off. 3 for cars, it's 5 years is the average. Newer cars, you could get a little longer time. We're going to go 5 years to pay it off. How many months are in 5 years? 5 times.
Let's see. Is it 60?
60. Very good. And the amount borrowed, I'm going to borrow $60,000. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to create a little table. I want to center my numbers, align it to the center, highlight it all, put in all borders around it, and there's the information we're going to use. What are we going to figure out? We're going to figure out our monthly payment. Can you guys see that on the board, or you want me to make it a little bigger? Let's see. We can make it a little bigger. So we're worried about the monthly payment. And remember, when we use a function, when we write a code for a function, we write it in the cell where we want the results. So we want the result of our monthly payment to be in this cell. You guys know me. I'm going to center it, highlight them both, and go ahead and put a little border around it. I'm going to click into this cell because this is what I want the results for. Now we're going to put a function in this cell. I need to go to function and more functions. Okay. And when I do that, it takes me to the Google spreadsheet function list. In the Google search part, I am going to try PMT. That's the name of the financial function that we want to use. Click on PMT. I'm going to go up here, make this part just a little smaller. And you can see that there are samples on how to use PMT. We're going to put the cell locations. The syntax tells you about the rate, number of periods, present value. And then it breaks each number down. The rate, the interest rate, will go in first. The second is number of periods. That's how many months you're going to take to pay it off. And then the present value, that's what you're borrowing. Then you see 4 and 5, the fourth and fifth numbers, they're optional. Well, this isn't a finance class. We aren't going to use those optionals. We're just going to use the first 3 numbers. There's notes and also reference down at the bottom. We have some nice examples of the code written. Notice here that they divided the first number by 12. Here's a house mortgage that they figured out. So that's pretty neat. We're going to go back to our spreadsheet. And the first thing we're going to do is make sure you click where you want the answer. And we're going to go to the function ribbon. And what's the first thing we type when we're writing a function code? Every function, the first thing we type. Equal sign. The equal sign tells Google Sheets that everything after this is a formula. Then we type our function, which is PMT. You can see, you can highlight this PMT, click on it, and then it goes right to a parenthesis. Now, our first number, what was our first number in the function? Do you remember what that was? The first number was the interest rate. Instead of writing your cell, which in mine is C30, you could go right to the number you want, the cell you want, and click in it. And it'll write it for you. Remember, they want us to divide the first number. So divide it \12. And then what they want you to do is go to the next cell. Well, you separate it with a comma. The next cell was how many months it takes you to pay it off. You click right into the month, right into the cell. Look, they're color coded. I like this. Purple location highlights that cell in purple. Hit a comma. And the last one is how much are you borrowing? Click it, then put the last parenthesis on it, the right one, and then either hit enter or click in a different cell. I can make this even a little bit bigger. And you can see that my payment per month is $1,100, over $1,100. That's a lot of dough each month, right? Now, there's a couple things I want you to remember. Your money is your money. So shopping for cars or shopping for interest, you negotiate. You can negotiate. And let's say we get a lower rate. Like for my van, I got a 2.4 interest rate, 0.024. Change my interest rate, hit enter. Look, my payment went down at least $100. That's for 60 months. I saved $6,000 on just shopping for a better interest rate. And banks are competitive. You can go from bank to bank. If I want to get this payment down a little more, maybe I'll ask them if I could pay it in 6 years. How many months is 6 years? 72. Yep, you're right. Hit enter, and look, my payment went down. This mouse is so sensitive. About another $100, over another $100. So that's another big chunk of change I saved. And the next way to get that payment down is maybe I have $10,000 in my wallet. I put down $10,000, and now all I have to borrow is $50,000. So if I borrow $50,000, it just went down about $150 a month I pay. Okay, and now you can see why I probably will never own this Roadrunner, because I can't afford it. I'll have to buy one that's all beat up and then fix it up is what I'd have to do. So any questions on how that works, Jake?
Okay, so how do you find the interest rate and the amount of months?
I just put one, but
Oh, it doesn't matter.
no, for this, but how you find the interest rate, you could go to a bank website. Let's say you go to Huntington, and probably on search or somewhere they'll have car interest rates.
Okay, because I found my car like the total cost. I just didn't have the interest rate.
Gotcha. The interest rate will vary a lot from bank to bank to negotiating. Me and my wife, when we bought our van, we said our payment has to be under $250. And they gave us one interest rate. They go, well, it's $259. We said that isn't under $250. They found another interest rate. They said $252, I think they said. We go, that isn't under $250. Then finally, the third interest rate they went out and found, it got it to like $248. So they'll negotiate the interest. Even though if a bank writes, hey, here's the interest, you can go in and say, of course, you can't cut it in half. It can't be a drastic move. No one could do that. But you can go, that's too high of interest. Bring that down a couple points. And if they say no, go, okay, thanks for doing business. I'm going to go shop other banks. They're either going to let you leave and shop other banks, or they're going to go, let me see what I can do. One or the other. Remember this. If you don't learn anything from me but this, is your money is your money. Absolutely. Okay?
Okay,
So what was your car, Jake?
the 1965 Corvette.
Chevy Corvette. Is that an E at the end, I think?
Yeah.
How much was
It
it?
was 40,000.
Okay, so let's say this is a pretty good interest rate. They probably, especially a used car like that, definitely not over 5 years. So we'll put 5 years, and let's say you had to borrow the whole thing. That's $700 a month you have to pay.
So for mine, I can put that 0.02.
Yeah. That's fine with me. And that's the deal. A couple other things. The first thing is, look, this payment is a negative number. Well, the bank isn't giving you numbers or money. So how do I make that a positive number? In math, how do you make a negative to positive?
You add it like
No, a negative to a positive.
negative times a negative.
Negative times a negative is a positive. Very good, Alec. So up here on the function ribbon, click before the PMT and put a negative sign. Hit enter, and now it's a positive number. Okay, I'm going to complete my table. I'm just going to go ahead and put a outer border around it. Maybe put a purple one. And then there's my table. So yours should look sort of like this, close to. Another thing is, see how I have these blank cells? Go ahead and highlight the blank cells and throw like a light gray in there. A light gray paint. And what that does, it tells whoever's looking at it, there's no data missing. These are just blank cells. Sometimes if you keep them white, Yeah, it looks like it's missing data, exactly. But if you highlight them in gray, then it tells them there's nothing supposed to be in there. So that's pretty much what it looks like. Here's how I'm going to grade it, people. You're going to do your best. I'm going to look at the table. I'm going to say that's cool. I am going to go to your monthly payment, and when I click on it, I should see your formula. I should see the written function up here. If you didn't write a function up here, that's a 0, because this is what this is about, is to write function. Okay, remember that. So I don't care if you use the exact same numbers or table that I do. That doesn't matter to me, as long as I know what you're trying to do, and as long as you try to write this code in here, then you'll get a good grade. That's what I want to see. Okay, I'm going to move on, and we're going to do some things about the planets. All right? The planet table, it's no more than a conversion table. And there's about four headings that you need. The first one is the planet, or Earth's weight. Earth weight. I'm going to right arrow the planet that you're going to convert to, the planet gravity, and then the last thing is the planet weight. I'm going to highlight all 4 of these. I'm going to go up, center the alignment. I'm going to go ahead and put in all borders. I want it black. So I'm going to change it back to black. I'm going to go ahead and make this even a little bit bigger. Now, we are going to write a function, and what we need to know is if I weigh this trash can and it's 12 pounds, how much will it weigh on other planets? You're going to do all the planets and the moon. So that's like 9 different conversions you're going to have. And we're going to use the product code, or the product function that we worked on last week. And we're going to multiply the Earth's weight times the planet gravity to get how much it weighs on that planet. So let's just type Mars in here. And I'm going to go ahead and center a bunch of this stuff. I'm going to figure out Mars. Did anyone figure out what the planet gravity on Mars was? People are getting 2 different numbers. One is the gravity, and one is like a ratio to the Earth's gravity. The gravity pull compared to the Earth is, I think on Mars is 0.314, something like that. All right? And we want our result to end up under planet weight. So I'm going to click on that cell. And now I'm going to go to the function ribbon, and I'm going to type my function. What's the first thing I type? Equal sign. Very good. Who said that? Good job, Richard. You were listening. Equal. What's the next thing I'm going to type? The function. What's the function? Jaden, what's the function? What's the function? Product. Click there. We're going to multiply 2 numbers. The first one, Earth weight. Did I spell Earth right? Yeah, I guess so. Put a comma because you got to separate the elements, the 2 things you're multiplying. And then the planet's gravity. Click there, and you see the Earth's weight is cell A44. It's going to multiply cell C44, and that's for me. It might not be for you. And then I'm going to put the in parenthesis on it, and I'm going to hit enter. And right here, it just shows what the planet gravity is. So if this basket weighs 12 pounds on Earth, I'm going to put 12, enter. It'll weigh 3.76 pounds on Mars. Okay, does that make sense? And we can see our function. It multiplies this cell and this cell. Now, you have to make about 9 conversions, all the planets plus the moon. Well, instead of writing this code 9 times, I'm going to show you a shortcut. All you do is highlight where you wrote the first formula, and then you see this blue square on the bottom right of the box of the cell. Put your cursor over it till it's a plus sign, left click, drag, and you drag down like 8, 9 cells. I just dragged. And if you notice, this one's written for A44 and C44. The next one, I click in it, it's written for A45, C45. The next one is written for A46, C46. So see what it did for you? It rewrote your formula for you. And now, let's see, we'll do Neptune. Neptune, the gravity of Neptune, anyone know? I think it was 1.45 or something like that. That same 12-pound trash can on Mars weighs over 3.5 pounds. At Neptune, it weighs 17.5 pounds because of the gravity pull.
So when we do the Earth, should we use that 12 pounds the whole time?
No, you want to make it so you can change it to anything you want. Like if I take a 100-pound weight on Earth, it's 100 pounds. On Mars, it's 31.4.
Yeah, but like when we do our chart, we keep it all the same weight.
It doesn't matter. Because you know how I'm going to grade it? I'm going to go to every planet weight and make sure you have codes written. And then if I look, if you have the right code written, then it'll work. Now, on this version that I just showed you, you have to go through and enter the Earth's weight 9 times, right? 8 planets if you're putting Pluto, and the moon. Well, there's another way you could do this. And the other way is, let's move this heading up here. Get rid of that. So I'm putting the Earth weight heading up there. I'm going to put a box here. First center it, then an outer box. And what I want to do in this case, this is a different way to do it. There's 2 ways to do it. Whenever I type the Earth's weight, I want it to calculate every planet at one time. Got it? So if I go and I look, I highlight this, and look, the weight for the Earth is at cell C39 for me, C39. So I've got to adjust my formulas, my functions. So what am I multiplying? I'm multiplying C49 times this cell. This cell times this cell. Hit enter. And you can see it went back to its original, to its gravity weight because it doesn't recognize this anymore. Next thing, I got to put the same thing, C39. Hit enter. That went back, so we're not using these numbers anymore. Now, I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to put a border around it so you can see it move when it happens. I'm gonna put a ton. How many pounds is a ton?
I don't know.
Not 10,000. No, 2,000. 2,000 pounds is a ton. So if it's a ton on Earth, now watch these two things right here. What happens? I hit enter. Whoop! I wrote this wrong. Oh, I put 49 instead of 39. There we go. Now, if I put 2 tons, it calculates both at the same time. It weighs 628 on Mars and 2,900 on Neptune. So let's write a different number so you could see it change. Watch both these numbers. So let's put 300. Enter. It calculates them at the exact same time. So now all you have to do is put the Earth's weight on once. Yay? Nay? Got it? Clear as mud?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead.
So for our project, it's just these two things.